Hi guys, is Dominic Raab, the Deputy Prime Minister, a bully? Well, Sky News interviewed a number of people who have worked under him, and they talked about members of the team being afraid to have meetings with him, and some leaving in tears after speaking with the politician. But is he a bully? Well, in this clip he was asked about harassment in general, and he sort of gave the game away. Raab isn't even clever enough to pretend to be empathic when it came to the task of working with others. Have a listen to this.
I want to just show you what's been said. I know you said they're anonymous sources. We have voiced them up. These are people that Beth has spoken to. And here is one of the allegations there. He created an awful atmosphere. It was coercive behaviour. He had people in tears after coming out of his office, but they wouldn't complain. Do you recognise that?
Well, as I just said to you, and you know I'm going to say this, it's actually improper for me to comment on the question you've just asked. It's a breach of the rules of the inquiry. Anyone involved in the inquiry who is commenting to the media, anonymously or otherwise, is breaching the rules. And as a matter of basic professional integrity, I'm not going to do that.
Fine. So, as a professional integrity, do you think it's important that the people you work with like working with you?
Look, of course you want to have a positive relationship with the vast majority of people that I do. That's the case. But I'm not going to comment on the allegations or the claims. As I said to you before, and I've answered questions on Sky News before, it's actually improper for anyone who's involved in the inquiry to comment on it with the media.
I know, I appreciate it. But I'm talking about more...
I'm not sure you quite do. You want to ask your questions anyway.
I do, but I'm talking about it more broadly, more philosophically, because, you know, we all work in organisations, and sometimes you work with people you don't quite get on with. I'm saying, do you think you should always be, friendly with those that you work with? Or is there space there to not to get on?
Look, what I'd say is a professional relationship, particularly between politicians and civil servants, what you want to do is be bigger than the sum of your parts. There's a really important piece around candid advice, full advice from civil servants, and ultimately when ministers decide and offer ministerial challenge, that's important too. You want...
Ministerial challenge. Is that what he's talking about? Now... There's a big difference between, now it goes on to talk about, if you work in any business, there's going to be conflict or whatever between different individuals. But there's a very big difference between working in a company and being a civil servant when your boss is a politician. Because in a regular company, if the boss is harassing people, is creating problems, is bullying, you can take that up with the tribunal. When your boss is a politician, and in this case, who can fire Dominic Raab? Well, only the Prime Minister can fire Dominic Raab. And who put Dominic Raab into that position? Well, the Prime Minister put him in that position. So it's very different than working in a company, because you can take the company to court. And the company will maybe defend the employee, the manager, or maybe they will not. But it's a completely different situation when your boss is a politician. And comparing it once again to a company, and maybe it's not an accurate comparison, but generally within a company, there is some sort of merit system where you become a manager because of your abilities. Dominic Raab is not in charge because of his abilities. Probably the opposite. Because he's an idiot, he's been put in charge. Like Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson put people at the head of departments like Nadine Dorris and Jacob Rees-Mogg, not because of their abilities, but because of their loyalty to him. And then you have somebody like Dominic Raab, and the way, going back to what I said before, he could have easily said, if he was clever enough, but then he's probably a narcissist, so he's not capable of showing empathy. He could have said easily, look, it's really important that there is respect between employer and employee. Bullying is completely unacceptable. I would stamp it out if I ever see it. It's important that any sort of bullying that is seen or is noticed by anyone, or if there are any allegations, then it needs to be completely removed as soon as possible. But he didn't, which points perhaps in the direction that there was bullying, and because he's a narcissist, or perhaps a narcissist, he believed he was always right. That's the problem with politicians like this. They don't actually have any merit to be in the position where they are. They have no real skills, but they're so full of themselves that they believe that whatever they say is gospel. and anyone who disagrees with that needs just to get out of the way. Imagine having him as your boss. Imagine having Boris Johnson as your boss. Imagine having Jacob Rees-Mogg or Nadine Dorries as your boss. People who are put in a position not because they know what they're doing, but because of loyalty they have to the leader. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.